Now, former Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Emmanuel Seydou says Ghanaians have a lot to be excited about with the quality of some of the appointees being named to take charge of Ghana's economy under the incoming Akufo-Addo administration. Mr. Seydou, who has been speaking with Joy News in an upcoming documentary, was particularly excited about the choice of Dr. Mamadou Bawumia as head of the economic management team. He says his work rate and astuteness whilst at the Bank of Ghana is a very valuable asset that would make a huge difference in his new role.
At both banking and he had economics, so he fitted in very well at the research department. So my contact with him was when I became deputy governor. The research department prepares reports on economy, and then they feed the governors with the reports. And you ask him to do something, and then the next moment he delivers. He has his own typewriter, computer, so he doesn't even rely on a typist to type for him. He does his own work. You give him work, and within moments he delivers. He should continue working the way he worked when he was deputy governor of Bank of Ghana. His work rate, like I said, is exemplary. And his working relationship also is very good. He gets along with people very well. And I never saw him frown, he was always smiling, even in difficult circumstances. So being at that level at the Bank of Ghana, there's a lot of pressure on you. The pressure from the World Bank, from the IMF, from your own constituents, the staff, and we belong to other agencies like WAMI and other West African bodies. And then your own family at home, so the pressures come from everywhere. But you never see him frown, he was always smiling. Withstanding all the pressures, And I will encourage him to continue doing that. As the vice president, I'm sure he will be in charge of the economic management team. And his knowledge at the Bank of Ghana and any subject matter of economics will be of great help to this nation. It took us, some of us, about 30 years to get to where we got. It took him only six years to get there. So you can see how sharp he is. I think we're blessed to have him as a vice president, because with him managing the economy, this economy should turn around. I expect to see that in the next 2-3 years. And people out there, people's expectations are very high because of the promises made. But it takes time to turn an economy around. And my belief and my hope is that within the next 2-3 years, we should see something positive happening.
Now be on the lookout for the full documentary on the President-elect Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, here on Joy News on Multi-TV. The broadcast dates will soon be advertised. In other news, work is underway at the Independence Square, where President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo will be sworn in as the next president of the Republic of Ghana. The event, which comes off this Saturday, will see a smooth transition of power from the John Mahama administration to the incoming Akufo-Addo government. Joy News' Hannah Dami was there to find out how far they've gone with preparatory works.
Lots and lots of activities are ongoing here at the Independence Square to ensure that the swearing in of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the President of the Republic of Ghana is hitch-free. The stages are being built. A lot of renovations are ongoing, as well as paintings, to ensure this place is sparkling. The star stand where Nana Addo Dankwa will be sworn in is also being constructed in a cordoned area. One thing that's going on here is a lot of cleaning, and one group that has taken upon itself to ensure this place is clean is V16, a core group in the MPP who have come here to clean the place of all the mess and rubbish. Let's speak to their leader, Ibrahim.
We're watching that nothing is going on here, especially in terms of the refuse and even the seat where the people will sit on that day. Every place is dirty, and we are seeing Zoom Lion working here all the time, but we are not seeing anything, because we have come here this morning to work, and what we have seen this morning, I think, is very bad.
But you said you saw Zoom Lion. Haven't they cleaned the place?
Yes, I've been seeing Zoom Lion all the time in this place, but I don't see the type of work they are doing here, because I can tell you the work we have done this morning, I don't believe something is going on here. Somebody is working here, and I don't think something something will go on, will come on Saturday, will go on here. I don't.
In terms of cleaning.
In terms of cleaning, yeah, for me.
We have 5 days more. Are you going to be cleaning every day?
For now, we have come to clean today, and from tomorrow going, we will start monitoring if the Zoom Live will continue, because we have created awareness for them that here is dirty, and we are just leaving for them to continue. But we will monitor from tomorrow going up to the D-Day.
I have also seen some members of Zoom Lion lending their support to clean this place. Some members of state protocol are also here to ensure that everything they have put on paper is carried out thoroughly here at the Independence Square. In the next 5 days, this place will be buzzing with lots of activities as a new president is sworn in. Keep your dials here on Joy News and we will bring you all the details. From the Independence Square, my name is Hannah Odame.
Well, former mayor of Accra, Natununa Matefio, is urging President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo to appoint a mayor who can deal with the growing population challenges facing Ghana's capital, Accra. The city is currently faced with sanitation, accommodation, and other challenges due to the rapid growth in population. The former mayor, who's been speaking exclusively to Joy News, says a practice where politicians were appointed to head metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies must end in order to empower the assemblies to be autonomous.
I wish the new mayor luck. He is inheriting a city with tremendous potential as well as considerable problems. He has a constituency which is making itself each month, each year. The population keeps growing. And the problems associated with the population growth will bedevil his administration. But on the other hand, he is also sitting in a city with a tremendous number of young people who are enthusiastic for a good beginning. On a more practical level, he will be under tremendous pressure with the usual bugbears of what's he doing about sanitation. Sanitation is important, but it's also very important that what kind of policies can he institute which will reduce poverty in the city. There are far too many young people walking the streets of Accra, trying to hustle pathetic little souvenirs, water, all kinds of things just to make ends meet. The fact that they have not given up on life and are still willing to work to earn a living is very much positive. But he, as mayor, has to create conditions in which they can make their lives much better. And that's something he has to look to. I have been told that the government really has plans maybe to elect the mayors of the future. I don't know whether this will, I don't believe that will come in to affect the nomination of our next mayor, but it's certainly something that we should keep in mind. He should keep in mind the possibility that one day he may have to ask the electorate for a mandate to rule this city. The city is growing in many different directions. Frankly, the cities have grown so far out that as much as we have worked to create infrastructure for traffic, the city is getting more and more choked. And the mayor will have to find ways of lessening the density of the traffic circulation in Accra. And when
So what are your expectations of the next mayor of Accra? We hit the streets to find out.
Okay, actually what I would say is that nobody appoints anybody to an office just for appointment's sake. Because the person who is appointing him knows him very well that though he studied physically, people think that he studied education, but it's not like that. Because we have people in parliament, the course they studied is different from what they are doing in parliament.
You see, we need a massive infrastructural development in Accra. When you watch this drainage system and stuff, it's very bad. we need someone who can tackle this drainage system. Sometimes when it rains, look at the Odo River, and they have to, the next mayor have to make sure it clears all those people along the Odo River, right? So that it will be dug for free flow of water. When it rains, we will be safe. And most of the time, these containers around, they are giving a lot of problems.
So do you expect the next mayor to have a technical expertise, or you want just anybody who can do the job as you want it?
Definitely. You can't just come and say you are a mayor without knowing anything. You have to be technically inclined, you see, so that you can do the job well.
The problem we have here in Ghana is that whenever an expertise or anybody who knows how to do something best, you either belong to a particular political party, otherwise, whether you have the expertise, the technical know-how, you will not be given the opportunity to serve. But then I think that our democratic dispensation, we are at a point where we must be able to move away from partisan affiliated appointment, but then we have to look at a holistic view of the nation, what will benefit the nation as a whole, what will go a long way to promote development in the nation, but not a personal appointment which the person may not qualify to head the department, and yet the opportunity is given to the person because he is affiliated or is a party member.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break, but still to come, we have some more names of persons lined up for appointment in the next administration. We'll be with you next station. Watching Joy News Prime, and now we're getting information about a few more names that have been lined up for appointments in the Akufo-Addo administration. In the last few weeks, there have been speculations. In fact, the president-elect himself has dropped some names. But tonight we'll share a few more of the names that we have come across. Evans Mensah is here. He's head of our political desk. He's here. He's joining me in the studio with a few more of those names. Good evening to you, Evans.
Good evening, Jean.
All right. So one of the key appointments we're being told is Chief of Staff.
Yes.
Who's this?
Fremont Solpai. She used to be a former deputy minister in the Akufo administration. In fact, she's been playing this role for Nana Akufo-Addo since, the campaigns started. In other words, managing Nana Akufo-Addo's staff during the campaign period, etc., etc. So this is just an elevation from a private role to a state role, where she's going to become the chief of staff. We understand, our sources say. So that's an expectation. But of course, I mean, these are sources. And Nana Akufo-Addo himself, you recall when the day they did the transition formally, we spoke to her, and she was asked that question: "Are you going to get a chief of staff?" Oh, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Once they start giving you those answers, you know something is up. But now we get confirmation from our sources that she is in fact going to get that role. So there's no surprise there. The big name, though, for me in this latest
release,
our sources have been telling us, is Abu Jinapo, who we understand is going to get the deputy chief of staff role under Nana Akufo-Addo. Also because you couldn't have guessed in a million years his name being there. Because he's been doing a lot of work in the background. People don't know this. I know it because traveling across the country doing ballot box, there are times when I have been in the place, I've been in the region.
You run into him.
I run into him, exactly. I've been in places where
odd places.
Well, when Anado is campaigning, and I happened to run into him. In fact, I ran into him in the northern region, and he was there doing the rounds with him. He comes from, that part of the country. So he was doing the rounds with him. touring the country with him, you know, spending his own resources doing that. And people will be surprised, but I'm not, because in the background, he's been doing that work for a while. People thought he had disappeared from the scene after the prominent role he played in 2008 as the Nanado's special aide in 2012 also. And then people say he disappeared. He didn't. I mean, he was quiet in the background, still serving the man.
Yeah.
You don't get to become a deputy chief of staff if you don't have a close relationship, a relationship based on trust. And you know that he got into a bit of a difficulty when allegations surfaced that he was not as loyal as he should. And because of that, he got a bit of flack publicly several years back. But for me, what we're expecting to be a formal confirmation of this later on, you know, likely before the inauguration, is a confirmation that those rumors are not true, because you cannot have questions about loyalty hanging around you
and still be
appointed as deputy chief of staff. I mean, for me, that's a clear confirmation that those allegations that we had way back in the day about him aren't true. Nanado is a lawyer. He would definitely have done his background work before making these appointments. And chief of staff, if you know anything about them, they're people you are close with, you trust, you're confident. Because in fact, the president, before the president will know anything, the chief of staff already knows. He's sort of the gatekeeper. He stands between, you know, me and you, we are editors, so we are gatekeepers. Before the listeners hear the story, we would have heard it, decided which one to go and which one not to. That is the role a chief of staff plays. Normally, look at there's a second deputy. That's Francis Asenso Boache, a 39-year-old gentleman, very young also. Same as Abu Janapo, as we've been talking about, also very young. What will happen is these two gentlemen will actually do the legwork. They will actually get to the legwork.
Right.
So Sopari will be, you know, sort of the boss giving
oversight,
directions. Exactly. So they actually will get to do the work. So to get to that position, you must be somebody the old man trusts and trusts deeply. Because before he hears it, Obama used to say something very, very instructive. He says, if it is not impossible, it never gets to me. What it means is that the chief of staff would have sifted, would decide what goes to the president. If it gets to the president, it means it's reached a point where nobody else can take that decision but him. That's the role they're going to play. Very important role. And that is why, for me, it confirms that he reposes a lot of trust in these young men. 39 years old, another very young lawyer in Abu Janapo who's played a role. But there are other names, though, that I'm sure you want to hear beyond the...
I certainly want to hear. I mean, the viewers
we're also hearing, you've heard Nana Santibidito.
Executive Secretary.
Yes, to the president. He's a lawyer. I mean, I've known him for many, many years because I was covering the courts. Way back in the day during the Tagore, cocaine case, he was one of the lawyers for the accused drug baron, so to speak. And of course, he's shown his legal dexterity over the years as somebody who understands the legal realm, but also politics, because he's juggled that. He's spoken many, many times about issues of politics, especially when it has to do with legal issues. And he's
dealt with a number of cases.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, for the party, for Nana Akufo-Addo, etc. Come from the Achim line also, and so there's a close relationship there. Somebody who'll be very close to him. I won't be surprised if he gets to speak for him when there are issues that requires that he speaks. I'm saying that because there's another name, Eugene Ahin, who we understand will also be confirmed sometime this week, possibly before the inauguration, as the communications director of the presidency. Eugene Ahin currently is the press secretary to Nana Akufo-Addo. He's been for a long while. The key thing about Eugene, and the key thing about Eugene that runs through the names I've mentioned, is humility. Abu Jinapo, level-headed guy, when the allegation surfaced, went to the background because he knew the vision was bigger than him. So if you become a distraction, you don't want to be front and center anymore. Go into the bank and do your work, which is what he did. Humility. So same character. And note, the boss herself, who's going to be confirmed as the chief of staff, the first female chief of staff we are going to have. There's a reason why Nanado is making these choices, because of the lessons you're learning from the outgoing administration. We all know the problem that Prosper Bani hard whilst he was there. You know, people thought, you know, he was a problem. Then we brought in Julius Debra. Again, issues emerged. You don't want to get that wrong. And Eugene Ahin, again, we've had names in that role in this current administration that is outgoing that have become very controversial, causing a lot of trouble in terms of people seeing the president as arrogant, etc. Eugene Ahin is the opposite of that. He's a calm, level-headed guy. Have you met him?
I haven't met him.
You have met him. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, he speaks calmly and he exudes that humility. He wants to listen. That's a theme that runs through. The only person you say pretty flamboyant and that list will be Nana Santibede too, because he's a lawyer. He speaks fluent English and has a swag about him. He's etc. You know. So yeah, I mean, but it's just the way he carries himself. But down to earth, he knows how to speak. For me, that's a common thread that's been running through these things. And well, only time will tell how they do. But for my money, at this point, judging what we know so far, quite some solid appointments that we are expecting to be confirmed before the inauguration.
All right. Thank you very much, Evan Spencer. So, well, you were the names that have come up so far. Interesting, very interesting. Executive Secretary Nana Santibede too. We're talking
there's one
about
more I didn't mention.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, as I speak, I see get more. There's a lady, though, another lady, very close to the president, who is going to become secretary to the cabinet. And if you look at the rankings in terms of the power, the chief of staff, the deputies, and then you have to come to the secretary of cabinet, very powerful position. I understand that we need to get a confirmation of the name, but I know the background. I understand she's a diplomat. She actually used to work for Nando when he was a foreign affairs minister as his personal secretary. Of course, when he left, there were issues. Of course, the new government came in, you know, but now she's been brought back. I understand she's going to become the secretary.
Apparently, she's been out of town for a while.
I understand too.
That's the.
I understand too. So Nando is bringing back people he knows, people he's
comfortable with
to work with, and so yeah, I mean that's another person to look out for when the names are confirmed sometime before the inauguration.
Okay, thank you very much, Evan Spencer. So you stay tuned, and when we have the more names, we're going to be sharing that with you. But also in the bulletin, a former chief executive of Ghana Chamber of Mines, Joyce Ayi, is urging the incoming MPP government to ensure continuity of projects undertaken by the NDC administration when President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo takes over the governance of this country. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy News, the one-time Minister of Education shed light on happenings, including some violence that followed the declaration of the 2016 election, and blamed the media for exaggerating these occurrences.
The day of elections, usually, most people, let's say 99.9% of Ghanaians will do the right thing.
Okay.
Those who would want to actually be physically violent will be very few.
Okay.
Now, that does not mean people would not be vigilant, because we need to draw the line between being vigilant and being violent. So actually, I had great hopes that things were going to pan out well, and I'm glad they did.
Okay. Do you think there was something informing this desire to behave well? Is there any cause for that?
I think that people had talked about it a lot.
Okay.
Peace songs were being sung, peace concerts were being done, people were preaching peace, you know. So I think it...
So meaning all of these things worked?
I think they did work.
Okay.
I think they did work.
So
and I think that, I mean, to the credit of the political parties, they also told their people to stay on the straight and narrow. And I think that too helped.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. So generally, everybody liked it, just as you are saying it, that it was peaceful.
It was peaceful.
Yeah, it was peaceful.
It was peaceful.
But the aftermath, the violence we heard about at certain places.
I think that was exaggerated.
It was exaggerated by who? The media, political parties?
You know, you people in the media, you love bad news. You know,
you don't blame us. That's what sells, unfortunately.
But don't sell us what is bad for us.
Okay.
You know, so I think there may have been overexuberance and maybe some kind of vengeful retaliations.
Okay.
But I think it was grossly exaggerated. You know, especially since the elections seem to have gone the way of the majority. I think most people, even those who didn't voice it out, wanted some kind of change. And after they got it, it would seem a little of an anticlimax or a bit of contradiction to get what you want and then to go out of your way to rise against it or something like that. So, you know, I wasn't expecting that people would be overtly violent.
Okay.
I did expect that a few people, you know, some people cannot bear being teased. Some people cannot bear it at all.
And it's not easy losing an election.
You know, and it happens when you're playing football.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody would weep and not eat because the team has lost, then you can imagine what would happen if their political party lost.
In the meantime, the outgoing administration already has some projects that are ongoing.
I hope they will be continued.
Yeah, that's my point.
I think we have come past the era where a government should refuse to continue a project because the project is good for Ghana. You know, if it's a road, it will be used.
Welcome back. Now, hope appears to be fading on the fate of a Kumasi journalist who went missing under mysterious circumstances during last month's general elections. Dasibre A.J. Dramina's friends and other associates are already reaching out to his family with various forms of support. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
Kumasi-based Ash FM, A.J. Dramina, member of the Adventists in media, has been missing since December 7. Wednesday, January 4, 2017 will be exactly 4 weeks since Dasibre disappeared. He was scheduled to cover the polls for his station in the Bekwai constituency after supposedly voting in his hometown at Tremade. After a couple of updates on air, his 2 phone lines became unreachable. Station sources suggest he had confided in 2 unidentified persons he would go on a 2-week break after the election, during which he would turn off phones. Police have mounted a search for him with 32,000 Ghana cedis reward for information leading to his whereabouts. In the midst of the uncertainty, individuals and groups are showing compassion to the family. The latest is the Adventists in Media Ghana, of which Dasibre is a member. The group donated an unspecified amount of money to support the upkeep of Dasibre's children. President of the SAM, Edu Jemfi Yeboah, says members hope their colleague will eventually be found. Mother of Dasibre, 72-year-old Amatiwa, cannot hold her tears back.
You see, dear, now we're going. I'm sure the American answer me who me PC. Maybe I wish be have me.
His son, Eugene Dramina, speaks in despair.
Maybe say no me nipa, maybe I make be uncle baby. And ni na answer o mu na Ghana for ne obi obeti sase me bi adem pai wo betai.
Right, in other news here on Joy News Prime, we're moving to the beaches, which are one of the places popular with revelers, especially on holidays. But the combination of liquor and euphoria that usually characterizes such festivities often leads to accidents, which at the beach can be fatal. The La Pleasure Beach, however, tells Joy News it has been able to maintain an impeccable safety record because of some security measures it has put in place. The administrator of the beach tells Joy News no deaths have been recorded in the last 5 years, mainly because of these measures. And Esmenu has been speaking with him.
Who are you here with?
I'm here with my mom and my uncle, my brother.
Okay, you're here to have fun?
Yeah.
How's the holiday been for you?
It's been good.
The children want to have fun at the beach. There's lots of water, things to play with. They thought it'd be a fun place, and so we decided to come.
How's the holiday been for you so far?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, we've had a lovely time.
So far it's been good. Actually, we've been at home for long, so today we decided to come around and have fun over here.
Okay.
To look at how the sea is rolling and then people swimming at least. Though we don't know how to swim, but we just look at the people. And
because I was just about asking you, you look all dressed up. It doesn't look like you want to swim.
Yeah, because I'm not good at swimming, so I'm here just to look at the people and enjoy myself.
And I'm sure you came with her as well. I would like to find out from her.
Yeah, it's been boring though, because I was sick, as in I took ill. So I'm just here to relax myself.
And obviously you are not swimming as well.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Some patrons at the La Pleasure Beach Resort. For them, business has been good this festive season. Kenneth Ifutunikwe is the administrator of the facility.
You know, we make our money around festive seasons. Easter, the local festivals, for the Ghana season war, and then finally through the Christmas period. So it's been very good. Yes.
According to him, the beach is safe for its patrons because of tight security measures put in place, and reveals they have not recorded a single case of casualty for the past 5 years.
Our core objective here, first is security, and then second is about sanitation, the cleanliness of the environment. So security tops all of them. Before the Christmas festival, we already have a security system in place. That is the beachfront security. They are a specially trained security agency that take care of the security aspect of the beach. But before the Christmas started, we have to beef up the security. So we arranged with the district command to support us in whatever we do. They've worked with us, but not always. They come over the weekends and holidays. But for this festive period, we've asked them to come throughout. Aside of that, we have asked the counter-terrorism unit of Ghana Police to help us, to join us. So they are also with us here. So in a nutshell, we have three types of security systems operating at the beach for these festive seasons. Yes.
It's a beach. Usually you have people drowning, which is the topmost case with the beaches. Aside that, have you had any casualties throughout the festive season?
Not at all. Finally, God being on our side, we've not been having casualties for the past 5 years. Because apart from the security that I was talking about, we have taken measures and food measures in place. On the sea itself, we have trained lifeguards who are permanent employees here. So we work with them 24 hours. Quite apart from that, we have the National Security Guard who come to assist us during festive occasions. These have been trained so that when it's around festive periods, they are distributed all over the country to assist in saving lives of people who are about to drown.
Some members of the Red Cross Society are also available to provide free first aid services.
When we come here, it's nothing serious, but it's all because of safety. We need to take precautions because we are dealing with humans.
Is this a voluntary thing you're doing, or you've been contracted by management of the resort to do this?
No, it's a voluntary work. It is a voluntary work.
Okay. So how are patrons able to identify your stands if you've mounted any here?
Yeah, we have a stand somewhere. We are under a tent. And if there's any cases, we are not situated at a particular place. We're everywhere because you don't know where a case would come. It might be at the far end, it might be anywhere. So we don't sit at a place, we just move around. But we have a tent in which if there's any problem, we go give the person treatment there, then we transfer the person to us.
Are you here every time, or you only come during the festive season?
Not really festive season. We come here on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, let's say.
All right. So far, have you recorded any incidents?
Yes, we have. We do record incidents, but glory to God, no death cases. It's just minor incidents, but not death cases. Drowning, yeah, it's mostly drowning, unconsciousness, yeah.
We're taking a break. We'll bring you international news next. The tension that characterized campaigns in the Ododo constituency in Accra in the build-up to this year's election got many worried about the peace in that electoral area. This was mostly instigated by clashes between MPP and NDC supporters ahead of the December polls. The story is, however, different now, as the MP for the constituency, Neil Vanderpoel, says his campaign team intends to hold a joint Thanksgiving service with the opposition MPP to promote and maintain the existing peace. He added that education will be his priority in his next term in office. He spoke with Mamavi Usawaji earlier on the AM show.
Well, it is my hope and prayer that all of us will put elections behind us and get together as a family. That's what we're used to. This is a place where you can see two people fighting today, and the next moment you see them sitting down eating together. We are passionate about things, so sometimes our passion and emotions sometimes go overboard a little, but I can say that we also always accept the fact that we are a family. The whole of this place is one unit of a family, because as soon as you mention your name, people know where you're coming from, and one family is related to the other. It doesn't really matter which quarter of the area you come from, either Gbese, Sempe, Asne, Abola, Totublong, Nleshialata, or Akamajeng. It doesn't really matter. So once you mention your name, we know where you come from. So we'll be able to, amongst our people, you will see people celebrating together. In fact, the Christmas has come in at a good time, because whether I'm MPP or NDC, we all meet at Havana, we all meet at Clubhouse, we all meet at the places, enjoy ourselves together.
Have you met your main opponents?
Not yet. We planned, my campaign team and his campaign team planned to have one service together. We're waiting possibly after the handing over, and then we all will join us and then thank God together in one church, and thank God for the peace, and thank God for his own reconciliation. God himself reconciled the world unto himself through the sacrifice of his only son, Jesus Christ. So it is good that we also decide that in spite of our problems, we'll reconcile our differences and stay together as a family.
What's the priority for this constituency for your next tenure as Member of Parliament?
Oh, well, I am back on an aggressive campaign to make education attractive. I believe that once we educated our people, then we've created opportunities for them. So we started an aggressive infrastructure development. We also embark upon scholarship schemes, both at the secondary and the tertiary level. And so far it's been good. We've got close to about 20 students in various universities across the world, Bulgaria, Russia, we got some to one or two in Prague, Czech Republic, and all those things, and we're hoping that all of them will be coming back. We've also encouraged a lot more, close to about 70-something of our guys to be in the tertiary institutions. We've gotten close to about 60 of them in various training colleges and nursing training and teacher training. We're hoping that all these people will play an influential role in the lives of their peers, and also help us be able to embark upon good advocacy, which will lead to environmental sanitation, which will lead to maximizing resources, prudent management of resources, cut down on the profligate expenditures that we do in our funerals and outdoorings and the rest. So it is a hope and prayer that a lot more of us will get the education we require, which will enhance and broaden our perspectives so that we'll know what to do, so that the few of us who have carried the responsibility all this while, we'll have more people to join us to do that. Education is the key in this area, and I will continue to do that.
Now, the Chinese community in the Ashanti region, represented by the Guangxi Chamber of Commerce in Ghana, says it is committed to improving relations with Ghanaians. Members are using charity work to achieve this objective and allay worries about the activities in the country, especially concerning illegal small-scale mining. And the Kumasi Children's Home is the latest to benefit from such a gesture. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin's report.
The Guangxi Chamber of Commerce in Ghana is spearheading the initiative to improve relations between Chinese community and Ghanaians. An official, Monica Wei, was accompanied by liaison officer Ziga Selassie to present food and sanitary items to the home. She says the Chinese community has a responsibility to contribute its widow's mite to support needy children in Ghana. Monica Wei emphasized the gesture signifies strengthening Ghana-China relations at local and international level.
It's our social responsibility, and we feel obligated to help and support the causes that matter most to our community where we live and work.
The Kumasi Children's Home was built in 1965 and managed by Department of Social Welfare. Manager Mabel Boama expressed gratitude to the donors while calling for more of such support.
We're taking a break. We'll be back with entertainment.